Hey everyone, 99% of you watching aren't subscribed. Let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and at 1,000 subscribers, we'll drop special stories just for you.
The stars above Varlock Prime shimmered red, like ancient blood frozen in the void. Jagged rings of rock and shattered satellites encircled the barbarian world, a testament to centuries of warfare, rebellion, and resistance. Down on the planet's surface, war drums thundered like tectonic groans. Tribal banners fluttered in the burning wind. It was a place where honor was measured in scars, and survival was proof of worth. And yet, standing awkwardly in the middle of the smoky ceremonial hall made of obsidian and bone, Captain Leon Varick had never felt more out of place. He adjusted the collar of his crisp Dominion officer's uniform, now creased and dusty from the shuttle descent. Gold-trimmed, high-collared, and perfectly symmetrical. Everything about it screamed civilization, order, and command protocol, all of which meant nothing here. They had stripped him of his sidearm upon landing. His bodyguards were denied entry. Even his AI companion, Helix 9, had been silenced at the border. Alone and unarmed, Leon faced the towering figures of the Crimson Belt's War Council, clad in furs, spiked alloys, bone piercings, and glowing red ocular implants. At the center of the hall stood his supposed bride, arms crossed, gaze sharp as a plasma blade. Kayla of the Var clan, 8 feet tall in combat armor that looked forged in hell. A double-headed axe slung across her back. Her exposed arms bore the ritual scars of the blood trials. Her black hair was braided with strips of metal, clinking like chainmail. Her eyes, glowing faintly crimson, met Leon's without a flicker of warmth. He'd seen her dossier. Kayla was a chieftain's daughter, war-tested, feared even among her own kind. She'd once shattered a Dominion assault mech with nothing but her shock axe and a jump boost. Now, she was being offered to him, gifted to the Dominion, as part of a political bargain to end a 30-year planetary rebellion. Leon cleared his throat. The silence in the hall was oppressive. Kayla of Var, he began, carefully pronouncing her name in the Crimson dialect. As representative of the Solar Dominion, I accept this union as a gesture of peace and mutual. Stop. Her voice rang out like a gunshot. The chieftains leaned forward, amused. Kayla took a step closer, towering over him. She looked down, not in shame, but in disdain. I do not accept you, she said, voice cold and clipped. You are weak. You speak of peace, but you wear no scars. You walk with soft boots and hide behind your machines. This marriage means nothing unless you prove your strength. Leon didn't flinch, but his heart sank. He had expected tension, maybe even some ceremonial pushback. But not this. He glanced at Ambassador Aldrin, the Dominion diplomat who had brokered the deal. The ambassador only gave him a forced smile and a subtle shake of the head. Back down, it said. But Leon was tired of backing down. For years, he had followed orders, buried his instincts, and played the part of a good soldier. That's why they'd chosen him for this mission. He was obedient, disposable. If the plan failed, if the barbarians rejected the offer, he'd be the scapegoat, just another officer lost to diplomatic complications. Kayla turned away. Tell your emperor that the Crimson are not cattle to be traded for peace. Leon stepped forward. I challenge a refusal, he said loudly. Gasps echoed through the hall. One of the elder warlords laughed aloud. Kayla turned sharply, eyes narrowing. You do what? He took a breath. I challenge your refusal by the right of Crimson Accord. Trial by combat. Isn't that your law? Kayla stared at him in disbelief. Then slowly, a grin tugged at the corner of her mouth. You've read our laws. I read everything. Then you know that if you lose, you die. Leon nodded. I figured that part out. The laughter in the hall stopped. Kayla stepped close again, close enough that he could see the micro scars on her cheek and the faint energy humming beneath her skin from subdermal implants. I'll give you a week, she said. Train, bleed, pray to whatever gods your soft people still believe in. Then she leaned in, her voice dropping low. Because when we fight, I will not hold back. And I do not take husbands I can break with one hand. That night, back in his temporary quarters, a dark, angular room carved into the cliffs of the Var stronghold, Leon stared at himself in the mirror. Was he suicidal? Maybe. But beneath the fear, something stirred. Excitement. Kayla hadn't refused because she hated him. She refused because he hadn't earned her. In her world, respect was earned, not gifted. And maybe, just maybe, that was a kind of honesty missing from the Dominion. He tapped the control panel on his wrist. Helix, 9 flickered to life in a small hollow orb beside him. Captain, the AI chirped, "Your vitals are spiking. Shall I prepare your will?" Leon smirked. "No. Get me schematics of Crimson melee combat gear. And prep a training regimen. Do you want the standard human endurance curve?" "No," he said. "Give me Kayla's. Warning. That curve exceeds safe parameters for unaugmented humans. Then boost the pain dampeners. We start now." Outside, the twin moons rose over Varlock Prime, casting long shadows across the blood-forged battlegrounds. And in the silence of the night, the real courtship had begun, not through flowers or vows, but through steel, sweat, and the fire of combat. The arena was carved into the living rock of Mount Varkai, its massive walls scorched black from centuries of duels, trials, and executions. 1,000,000 warriors had entered its circle. Half as many had walked out. They called it the Arena of Storms not for poetic flair, but because of the ancient power cells buried beneath its floor, unstable, radiation-leaking relics of forgotten wars that now warped time, gravity, and energy fields at random intervals. It was the perfect place for a Crimson trial. And in 7 days, Leon Varric would fight for his life there. Training day 1. He awoke in pain. The impact gel suit was torn in 4 places. His arm was bleeding. His ribs felt like someone had smashed them with a hydraulic hammer. Technically, someone had. A Crimson War widow named Rytha was his sparring partner. She had once slain a troop carrier with a spear made of salvaged starship hull. Now, she was tasked with preparing Leon for battle. The Dominion had offered to send combat drones or tactical trainers. Leon had refused. If he wanted to understand Kayla, he had to understand her world. Rytha towered over him, breathing hard. Again. "I'm bleeding," Leon groaned, clutching his side. "You should be bleeding. That means you're still soft. Your blood hasn't learned to stay inside when told." He pushed himself up, swaying. "You're a terrible motivator. You're still alive. That's reward enough." She tossed him a blunt shock axe, the kind used in Crimson boarding raids. Leon caught it clumsily. His arms were too slow, his reflexes too cautious. And worst of all, he thought too much. "Stop calculating." Rytha barked. "A warrior doesn't think. He reacts. Instinct, not algorithms." "But Kayla does think," Leon countered. "She's not just brute force. She's strategic. She's precise." Rytha paused. For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. "She is different," the warrior admitted. "Kayla fights like she was born for both war and command. That's why she's dangerous. And that's why she won't accept a mate who kneels." Leon's lip curled. "Good. I don't kneel." Day 4. Learning the dance. The pain dulled. The movements became smoother. Leon's AI, Helix, 9, mapped the muscle memory of every strike, compensating for his injuries in real time. He practiced under the toxic rainfall of the upper cliffs, where gravity surged and faltered with unpredictable pulses. He sprinted through zero-G spikes, trained his lungs under low oxygen conditions, and studied hours of footage on Kayla's combat history. She favored misdirection, used momentum like a weapon, broke rhythm intentionally to disorient. She wasn't just a warrior. She was an artist of destruction. Leon adapted, slowly, painfully, but his Dominion reflexes, finely honed in ship-to-ship combat, quick tactical decisions, and mech operations, began to merge with Crimson instinct. Day 6, the visitor. That night, just before the final day, she came. Kayla. He was meditating in the open circle of the trial ground, wearing only a sweat-soaked tunic, arms bruised and wrapped in makeshift bandages. She stood across from him in silence for a long moment, axe across her back, silhouetted against the molten skyline. "You've changed," she said flatly. Leon looked up. "Thanks. I think. She walked in a slow circle around him, studying him like a rival general. You still move like a Dominion whelp, but your stance is hardened. You hold your weight differently. He shrugged. I had good teachers. I didn't come here to wish you luck, she added. I didn't expect you to. She stopped behind him. Tomorrow, I will not hold back. If I break your spine, it will be with honor. Leon turned his head slightly. If you break my spine, I'll consider it foreplay. There was silence. Then, for the first time, a quiet, sharp laugh from her. Short-lived but real. She stepped closer, just behind his shoulder. You want to win. I want to earn it. Kayla's voice lowered. Then fight me like a warrior, not like a husband. Day 7, the duel. The arena of storms pulsed with electromagnetic fury. Thousands watched from the cliffside terraces and hollow feeds. Warlords, Dominion envoys, bloodkin, machine tribes. Even orbital satellites broadcast the duel across multiple systems. 2 entered the circle. Kayla, armorless but for her shoulder pauldrons and chest plate, armed with her twin-bladed shock axe, energy pulsing across its edge. Leon, wearing an experimental Dominion combat weave suit, light but durable, equipped with reactive servos and grav ship boots. His weapon, a collapsible energy staff with adjustable frequency modulation, customized to mimic Crimson fighting styles. The drums began, a signal from the elders. The duel began with a roar. Kayla surged forward like a comet, axe slicing in a wide arc that split the ground. Leon flipped backward, barely dodging the strike. He parried the follow-up with his staff. Sparks flew as metal kissed metal. She pressed him, relentless, overwhelming. Each blow carried the weight of a collapsing star. But Leon moved differently now. He didn't just retreat. He redirected. He read her movements, disrupting her momentum. He struck her with a shock pulse to the ribs. She staggered. Then came her retaliation. A feint, then a sudden low sweep that smashed his leg and sent him tumbling. The crowd howled. Blood on the stone. Leon rose slowly, coughing. Kayla watched him, not advancing. Waiting. She's testing me. He realized not just strength, resolve, will. He adjusted his grip and charged. Their weapons met midair with a deafening clang that echoed through the mountains. He ducked under her counterstrike and struck a precise blow to her shoulder, disabling one of her implants temporarily. She snarled and grabbed him by the throat. "Submit," she hissed. He activated his grab boots, reversing polarity, and flung them both into the air. They crashed down hard. He landed on top, staff at her throat, but he didn't strike. He panted, staring down at her glowing red eyes, his hand trembling. "This isn't about domination," he said quietly. "This is about choice." She stared at him, unmoving. He threw the staff aside. Silence. Then Kayla sat up slowly, looked at him, then to the War Council. "I accept him." The arena erupted, not in jeers, but in awe. Kayla stood and extended her hand, not in mockery, but respect. Leon took it. That night, they sat beneath the twin moons, quiet, at peace. For now. "You surprised me," Kayla admitted. "I was surprised, too," Leon said, flexing his bruised hand. "Mostly that I'm still breathing." She smirked. "Next time, I won't go easy. Next time." She leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "You still haven't proven you're worthy of my heart." Leon raised a brow. "Guess I'll have to fight for that, too." The stars above Black Spire Station shimmered like ice, cold, distant, and unaware of the powder keg simmering beneath them, orbiting the neutral zone between the Solar Dominion and the Crimson Belt. The station was meant to symbolize peace, a fusion of Dominion engineering and Crimson stonework, a joint construction that bridged war and diplomacy. To Leon Varick, it felt like a beautiful lie with cracks spreading fast. It had been 2 weeks since the trial of the arena. He and Kayla Var were officially united, recognized by both the Dominion Senate and the Crimson War Council. Their bond, forged in blood and flame, was heralded across systems as a first step toward lasting peace. And yet, beneath the surface of diplomacy and rituals, something darker stirred. The warning, Leon stood in the command hall of the Spire, staring at a flickering hologram of intercepted Dominion chatter, off-book frequencies, encrypted with an obsolete but still dangerous military protocol. Operation Thorn Star has been greenlit. Target: Crimson elements aboard Black Spire. Objective: destabilization through provocation. The voice was unmistakable. Admiral Jareth Nor, a hardline Dominion officer known for his disdain of the Crimson. Leon's gut clenched. They were planning to sabotage the peace. What's Operation Thornstar? Kayla growled from behind, her eyes narrowing as she read the same text. Leon didn't look at her. An old Dominion trick. Cause a small incident, pin on the enemy, and roll in with full force as defensive action. Classic military theater. Kayla crossed her arms. Why here? Because Black Spire is the symbol of our unity, Leon said bitterly. They blow it up, they kill the idea. And us, she added. He finally met her gaze. Then we don't let them. The infiltration. That night, Leon and Kayla moved through the understructure of the Spire, an area not yet mapped by Dominion sensors, but well known to the Crimson builders. These were the bones of the station, still being reinforced with plasma welds and hand-forged alloy supports. There, they found the truth. A team of rogue Dominion commandos, heavily armed, embedded as construction workers, biosign dampeners, concealed explosives. Leon watched from the shadows as one of the infiltrators planted a quantum destabilizer core beneath the primary grav generator. Once the core hits full charge, it'll implode the station's spine, Kayla whispered, low and lethal. Leon tapped his comm. Helix, scramble the internal comm network. Isolate all channels. Keep this off official frequencies. Yes, Captain. May I suggest we also run? Leon smiled grimly. Not yet. Kayla stood. We stopped them. Now. The battle begins. Leon struck first, an electrified baton to the commando's back, sending him into convulsions. Kayla didn't bother with subtlety. She crashed into the enemy's squad like a meteor, her axe humming with charge, cleaving through alloy and bone. Blood painted the walls. Sparks showered the ground. One of the commandos fired a micro-torpedo. Kayla caught it midair and hurled it back, annihilating the backup squad in a burst of blue flame. Alarms flared. The entire station shook as lockdown protocols engaged. Leon shouted over the din, "They'll blame us. We need to reach the command deck first." They ran, dodging gunfire, leaping over plasma conduits, using both Crimson agility and Dominion tech in unison. Bridge of the Spire. Admiral Noah was already on the comm screen, his silver uniform impeccable, face tight with false concern. "Captain Varick, you're ordered to stand down. You and the Barbarian have jeopardized a classified operation." Leon cut him off. "You mean your illegal sabotage attempt? Dominion stability must be protected. By murder and treason?" Leon snapped. "This peace was built in blood. Ours. You don't get to burn it down because you're afraid of change." Behind Leon, Kayla stepped forward, holding the disarmed explosive core in her hand. "Your plan has failed, Admiral," she said, "and your dishonor is witnessed by all." Leon turned to the internal broadcast controls. With a single tap, he sent the footage of the sabotage attempt across every Dominion and Crimson channel aboard the Spire, and to the orbital relays beyond. The truth, undeniable. The station fell silent. Aftermath. The Dominion Senate disavowed Nor within the hour. He was arrested, tried, and executed within days. Officially, he died disgraced by betrayal. Unofficially, Kayla made sure his name was buried in Crimson lore, unworthy of memory. Repairs on the Spire resumed. And the story spread, not of sabotage, but a husband and wife, one from the Machine Empire, one from the warrior clans, who stopped the war with nothing but loyalty, steel, and unity. That evening, the two sat in the Spire's upper observatory, the stars burning quietly through the glass dome. Kayla leaned against Leon's shoulder, bruised but alive. "You didn't hesitate," she murmured. "Didn't have time." "No," she turned to him. "You could have walked away. Saved yourself. Left me to face the blades." Leon smiled. "We're married, remember? That's not how this works." Kayla was quiet for a long moment. Then she took his hand, not for ceremony, not for show, but for herself. Maybe you are more crimson than Dominion now. He kissed her knuckles, rough with calluses and blood. Or maybe we're building something new. Peace is a fragile thing. It doesn't shatter in a single strike. It cracks slowly. Fractures appear beneath speeches, beneath treaties, beneath handshakes forced through gritted teeth. And now, barely a month after the siege of Black Spire, the fractures were everywhere. The Dominion Senate teetered on the edge of political collapse. The Crimson clans, fiercely independent and easily insulted, grumbled that Kayla had grown too soft, that she had forgotten the old ways, that her bond to a Dominion captain made her a traitor to her blood. War hadn't ended. It had mutated. And as the drums of rebellion began to beat again, Leon, Varric, and Kayla of our realized the truth. If they didn't act now, together, it would all burn. The War Council fractures. The War Council of the Crimson Belt had once roared with unity. Now it hissed with accusation and silence. Warlord Drek of the Fongforge clan slammed his fist against the obsidian table, splintering its surface. You brought a Dominion general into our circle. A stranger. An outsider. Kayla didn't flinch. He is no outsider. He won the trial. He shed blood for our people. He stood beside me when the spire fell. Drekka's lips curled. And yet he speaks of merging commands, of structure, of Dominion war maps and orbital chains of command. We are not machines. We are Crimson. Leon stepped forward. You're right. You're not machines. You're better, which is why you deserve more than endless tribal wars and backwater grudges. The Dominion doesn't want to erase you. We need you. The galaxy needs you. Gasps, scoffs, a few looks of intrigue. Kayla raised her voice over them all. Then let us prove it. The way of the Crimson. A final challenge. Silence fell. Leon blinked. Wait, what challenge? Kayla's eyes locked on Drek. I challenge Warlord Drek to the Blood Circle. If I fall, our alliance dies. If I win, we unite. For real. One army. One banner. Shock. Then cheers. Then fury. Preparation for war. The Blood Circle was more than a duel. It was a battle ritual older than spaceflight, older than plasma rifles. It was fought not for death, but for dominance. The victor gained the right to command. The loser gave up their honor. Leon watched Kayla train in silence. She moved like a storm-given form. Each movement, a blend of brutal strength and calculated precision. Sweat rolled down her back. Sparks hissed from her axe. Her expression was calm, focused, and yet something gnawed at him. Why didn't you tell me before? He asked that night, as they stood overlooking the cliffside, the moons of Varlock Prime casting molten light over the black rock. Tell you what? She asked, not turning. That you might die tomorrow. Kayla gave a bitter smile. I was born to die in battle. But if I fall now, it's for something that matters. Leon stepped closer. You don't have to do this alone. She looked at him then. Really looked. I know, she said softly. But you need to survive. If I fall, the clans will need someone they trust to finish what we started. Leon took her hand. No, if you fall, we rise together. No more half measures. No more thrones built on ashes. Kayla nodded once. Then fight with me, not beside me. With me. The Blood Circle. They stood in the Temple of Ashes, the oldest arena in Crimson history, built atop the fossilized remains of a world-eater war machine. It was here that legends were made, or broken. Thousands gathered. Warriors, shamans, clan kings. Even Dominion ships hovered in orbit, broadcasting the duel to 1,000 worlds. Kayla entered the circle first, clad in traditional Crimson armor. No implants, no augmentations. Just raw strength and the will to dominate. Drek entered second, hulking, armored in beast bone and alloy, a chain blade slung across his back. Then, breaking all precedent, Leon stepped in too. Gasps echoed. Drek snarled. This is no duel of pairs. Kayla's voice rang out. No, it is a duel of bonded, and he is mine. The elders hesitated. Then the horn was blown. The battle began. Bonded in war. Drek moved like a monster, but Kayla met him head-on, grappling, redirecting, striking. Her movements were poetry. Brutal, bloody poetry. Leon darted around them both, staff flicking, disarming traps, disabling Drekka's armor with precise EMP bursts. He was no match for raw power, but he was smart, and he knew Kayla's rhythm like his own heartbeat. They fought as one. Drek slammed Kayla back. Leon struck his leg. Drek spun to slash Leon. Kayla took the blow and countered. It wasn't just a fight. It was a dance. A storm of red and blue. Kayla shouted, "Now!" Leon vaulted up, leaping from her brace knee, bringing down his staff with a concussive burst into Drekka's skull. He staggered. Kayla surged up, slammed her axe into his chest, and brought him down. Drek gasped, blood bubbling from his mouth. "It's not our way." Kayla knelt beside him. "It is now."